An early morning flight might be bad for a lot of reasons, but one thing that intrigues me is that you get to see the world like how you cannot in the daylight. Each of these walls tells a different story, each of these windows opens to a different side. I feel like they're all in themselves storybooks. These little things, all within themselves, are too small to be remarkable, but they are what collectively speak for a place. It's ironic how these streets, which are almost unnavigable in broad daylight, open up only in the darkness. Isn't that an important lesson that sometimes we are the biggest hindrances for ourselves? These are all the thoughts I had as I was roaming the empty streets of Ahmedabad at 4 in the morning to catch my early morning IndiGo flight at 7:40 a.m. After feeling vulnerable but fascinated and not being able to find any food late in the night, I booked my friendly and helpful ride to the airport. Today's IndiGo flight is operated from Ahmedabad's Terminal 1, a terminal I wish was as good looking as its better looking sibling Terminal 2. One of the downsides of being lost in the beautiful streets of Ahmedabad was that I couldn't grab a window seat this time. To compensate, the ground staff gave me an emergency exit aisle seat. Although IndiGo is India's largest carrier, I refrained flying with them because I was quite apprehensive after a few incidents on IndiGo flights. But I decided to check out for myself what the airline is like by giving them a try. One thing that IndiGo really does well is how punctual they are. The ground staff was already at the boarding counters a little while before boarding. Although boarding was slightly delayed, I think it was because another IndiGo flight was boarding around the same time and our ground staff and equipment were engaged there. Our flight today is being operated by an Airbus A320, one of the most reliable and trustworthy workhorses of the aviation industry. I was also very worried that the seats might be extremely tight and the aircraft would feel very claustrophobic. Although the seats felt very frail and poorly cushioned, the aircraft actually felt very spacious, and even the seats which didn't happen to be emergency exit seats had a decent seat pitch. The seat back featured a simple tray table with a seat pocket that housed a safety leaflet and the Hello 16 magazine. The tray table felt flabby and slightly small, but then again, who's having 3-course meals on IndiGo flights? Since I was in the aisle seat, I really couldn't shoot much outside the aircraft. One interesting thing was that we backtracked on the runway since Ahmedabad's airport doesn't have full-length parallel taxiways. won't be surprised by the awkward noises this aircraft makes. If you're flying on an Airbus A320, you can expect to hear a lot of these weird noises, and IndiGo takes it a notch higher by procuring the cheapest of the components. Around the time of the flight, I was following a diet and had pre-booked a low-calorie meal which had a default vegetarian option only. The meal came with chopped raw red cabbage and yellow capsicum, roasted paneer, a single lonely olive, a slice of lemon, and multigrain bread. The paneer was delish, but cold, and the rest of the things, well, let's just say I ate them because I hadn't eaten anything in the morning. The meal is supposed to come with a side of beverage. The only options they had were packaged juice and Coke, so I decided to go with some water. The lavatory was decent and clean. However, unlike the lavatories on Vistara's A320 Neos, they felt a lot more spacious.
We have only competition to Mumbai and Ascent. Cabin crew prepare for arrival base.
Unlike on the Boeing 737s, I've never once felt uncomfortable on an Airbus A320. I still don't know why, but it might be because the cabin pressurization systems on the 737s don't suit my body. Again, as we're approaching Mumbai, I couldn't shoot a lot of footage outside the aircraft, but to enjoy as much as landing as I could capture. We arrived on time, which was IndiGo's biggest USP, and docked at Terminal 2 of Mumbai Airport. Although we parked at a jet bridge, IndiGo also allows passengers to deplane from the rear exit. I, of course, never wanting to miss that chance, headed straight to the rear. While the flight was nothing remarkable, but IndiGo really did deliver a decent service. The crew is very friendly and kind and wore genuine smiles when I have seen crew on some of the biggest airlines fake smile their way through entire flights. The meal was okay, but one has to remember that it's a low-cost carrier and that's the best they can do. All in all, they served what they promised, and thankfully the flight had no dramas, which made me very relieved. Welcome to Mumbai Airport's Terminal 2. It's always a relief to be back home. I hope you enjoyed this flight experience. Do support our efforts and help us grow.